This is the Cuisinart Coffee Center Barista Bar 4-in-1 coffee maker. I picked it up because my counter had turned into a lineup of separate gadgets. I had a basic drip brewer, a single-serve pod machine, and a little milk frother that lived in a drawer. I wanted one machine that could handle mornings when I need a full carafe, afternoons when I just want a quick cup, and weekends when I feel like making a cappuccino. After a few months of living with it, I have a lot to say, the good and the annoying, and hopefully it helps if you're thinking about a do-it-all setup. In its category, I would call this a middle ground option. It is not bargain bin cheap, but it is nowhere near the price of the fancy espresso machines with built-in grinders. It is made for households like mine, where different people want different drinks, or where one person changes mood throughout the day. If you are a coffee purist who only cares about perfect micro foam and flawless espresso, this is not your finish line. If you want one footprint that covers drip, single-serve pods, Nespresso-style espresso, and a steam wand, this is aimed right at you. The drip side is where I started. I set the timer at night, fill the separate carafe reservoir, and drop in grounds. The bold setting actually makes a difference. The brew takes a bit longer, but the cup tastes fuller and less thin than the standard run. The warming plate is strong. On the highest setting, it keeps coffee very hot for hours, sometimes too hot for my taste if I leave it on the full 4 hours, so I set a shorter keep warm time or drop the temperature. Brew pause is handy when I cannot wait and want that first pour, but it usually spits a couple drops on the hot plate and gives off that burnt hiss. Wiping the plate becomes part of the routine. Taste-wise, I like the drip coffee from this side more than what I get from most pods. It is smooth, it is consistent, and it is easy. The single-serve pod side is my quick fix after lunch. I pop in a pod, choose 6, 8, or 10 ounces and let it go. Heat up time is fast. The first cup in the morning sometimes lands a bit shy of piping hot unless I preheat the mug with hot water, but the second cup is spot on. Clearance is a mixed bag. A short cup splashes if I do not lift the drip tray up close, and a tall travel mug almost always means removing the tray. The other thing I learned the hard way is that the needle can clog. If you brew flavored pods or darker roasts, grounds can gum up the puncture needle and the machine gives you a short cup. I keep a paper clip nearby and clear the needles every week or two. It is simple, but it is not glamorous. The Nespresso OriginalStyle espresso side is where it gets interesting. There is a lever that you pull down to pierce the capsule. It feels solid, but alignment matters. On a sleepy morning, I have crushed a capsule by seating it wrong. When I get it right, the shot pours with a decent crema, and the flavor is strong enough to stand up to milk. The pump is definitely louder than the drip side. The double shot option is convenient for lattes, and the heat and pressure feel consistent from day to day. If you are used to a dedicated Nespresso original machine, the taste is very similar, and that is a compliment. Now, the steam wand. This was the biggest test for me because I love milk drinks. It gets the job done for cappuccinos and flat whites, but it is not the most ergonomic wand. It is fixed in place with limited movement, and the clearance under it is tight. My 12-ounce pitcher fits, but I have to tilt it in and out, and that gets messy if I am not paying attention. The wand purges a little water before the steam dries out, so I keep a towel ready. With practice, I can get a glossy foam, but it is not as easy to shape into fine latte art as I can with a higher-end machine. For daily milk drinks, the texture is good enough. For fine art hearts and rosettas, this is a challenge. A few real-world quirks showed up after the honeymoon period. The big shared reservoir on the right side holds a lot of water. That is great for fewer trips to the sink. The drip side has its own separate fill, which I sometimes forget because I get used to relying on the big tank. Managing 2 water sources is part of the routine. Speaking of the big tank, I did experience some water pooling under the machine after a couple months. In my case, it traced back to the O-ring seal under the reservoir. Removing the tank, cleaning the gasket with a little vinegar, and reseating it tightly solved it for a while. When it acted up again, I placed a slim tray underneath until I could get a replacement seal. Not my favorite moment, but not a deal breaker either. The clean light also sent me on a small adventure. It came on, I descaled with a vinegar mix like the manual suggests, flushed it out, and the light stayed on. I ended up finding the right button press sequence online to reset the alert. Since then, I descale on a schedule and the light behaves. It is one of those things that makes you feel like you are dealing with a very smart but slightly stubborn appliance. What I love most, the stuff that actually matters daily, is pretty simple. 1, I can brew a full carafe for guests or rushed mornings without thinking. 2, I can pull a quick single serve without wasting a pot and without any drama. 3, I can make a real milk drink for myself on weekends. Having all 3 options in one place has cleared a ton of clutter. The stainless front looks good and it wipes clean. The machine is heavy enough that it does not slide when I press the buttons or pull the lever. The taste across all modes is solid. The drip coffee is the best of the lot, the pods are fine and fast, and the espresso is strong enough to carry a latte. Compared with what I used before, this is a serious upgrade in convenience. I used to run a simple drip brewer and a separate Keurig-style single serve. The drip machine made fine coffee but lacked programmability, and the warming plate toasted the pot. The single serve was very easy but never tasted as good as a brewed pot. I also had a cheap automatic milk frother that made airy foam but not real steamed milk. This 4-in-1 replaces all of that, and while the steam wand is not perfect, it is better than the little electric stirrer cups. Against the pricier machines, like a dedicated espresso machine with a powerful wand and a separate high-end drip brewer, those setups make better espresso and better micro foam. They also cost a lot more money and take twice the space. This is the compromise I am happy to live with. Value for money feels strong if you actually use every side of it. If you are only going to drip brew, get a great drip machine and call it a day. If you only drink espresso, a dedicated setup will make you happier. If your kitchen sees drip, pods, and milk drinks in the same week, this machine earns its spot. The 3-year warranty gives me some peace of mind with the internal pumps. Maintenance is real. You will descale, you will clear needles, you will wipe the steam wand right after use. If that sounds fine, you will be happy. If you want a zero maintenance box, this is not it. That is my honest take after living with it. If you have questions about specific cups, the steam wand, or the cleaning routine, drop them in the comments and I will help if I can. If you own it already and have a tip, share it so we all get better coffee without the headaches. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the Cuisinart Coffee Center Barista Bar 4-in-1 coffee maker.